Welcome to Kathy'sRight.com, your pit stop for the conservative mind, heart, and soul. Have you ever had a problem with, say, your cable bill, or dispute any billing company, or even an appliance repair? And when you call them, they put you on hold, and they say they're going to find somebody who can help me. And then they send that next person. They pick up the phone. You say hello. They ask you a few questions. Not usually a few. Maybe a few extra. And what was this problem? And when did this happen? Blah, 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 blah. And then they realize, that's not my department. Let me redirect you to someone who can help you. And so, again, they put you on hold and you listen to the music and that's all nice and good. And the next person picks up the phone and they ask you all of the same questions again, including your name. And they'll say, oh, well, this isn't the right department for that. Let me direct you to someone who can help you. By the time half the day is gone, you've gone through 4 or 5 people because nobody seems to know what their job is, or definitely not those who work in the same building. I'm thinking the same building. They don't know whose job it is to actually help you solve a problem. And that's what we're going through with the media now, because they have been misinforming us for so long. We don't know whether we're up or down. We really don't know, upside down or not. They are totally untrustworthy. And they're saying, oh, that's not my job. No, that's so-and-so's job. This isn't my job. I do this. No, you're supposed to be journalists, and journalists are supposed to do investigating. So journalists are supposed to do research. Journalists are supposed to find out what the truth is, not wait for it to be spoon-fed to them by the AP or the powers that be, ABC, MSNBC, CBS, all the ABCs, all of them, mainstream media. So that's what they are doing. They're passing the buck. I've had many conversations like this, and it's mind-numbing because it gives you a real headache after you're on the phone, and you will never get that half hour to an hour back, especially when you're talking about computers. I'm bringing this up because in a very, very real way, that's what the media is doing to us. And Rudy Giuliani and Trump's legal team laid out what their plan was, basically, to tell people this is where we're going with this. We're going to court because this happened, that happened on several occasions, in several states, in several districts. This is what happens, and it seems to be consistent. The middle of the night, votes came in, dumped into the place, all for Joe Biden. It's kind of weird. And so he was making that case. He went a long way of making it, but I think he was very valid in how he put it. Yet, the first reporter that came on the news, I was watching Fox at the time, the first reporter, she goes, he was very light on evidence. Wow. I wish she had said that to Adam Schiff. I mean, light on evidence. We didn't even see any evidence from Adam Schiff, but we went on for 3 years. And day after day, we had to look at that pencil-neck guy. He's not appealing. So it was really something that they're demanding something of Giuliani. He gave them way more information than Adam Schiff ever did on a good day. So it was up to them to go out and research what he gave them. Here's your nugget. Go out and find what it's about. And they were acting as though he was supposed to give them the game plan, the actual evidence. He did pretty much, except for giving people's names away. And you know how treacherous the Democrats are. Things would happen to those people. Dangerous things. You know, they might get suicided like so many of Hillary's friends. And so we couldn't afford to do that. So naturally, there were some things he had to hold back because you save the good stuff for the courtroom. You're not going to give your game plan away. You're not going to show your hand, so to speak, like in poker. But no, they said they wanted real, clear evidence. Well, we wanted that from Schiff, too. We definitely wanted it, but we didn't get it now, did we? We had words like the whistleblower and such. Giuliani actually gave some of the names. He didn't give all because that would be dangerous. We have now come to find out that the Democrats are a treacherous bunch of people. Quite violent, in fact. They were silent during the riots. They were silent when people were getting hit in the head with bricks. They were silent, and I consider their silence complicit, because when people were getting hurt, harmed, killed, they didn't say anything about the violence. They still maintained the peaceful protesters line. So why would we expect anything different from them today? I don't expect anything different from them. In fact, I have no loyalties to any media except for my own. Other than that, no, I don't see the point. There is no such thing as loyalty to a company. You could be loyal to a person, but loyalty to a media company today in 2020? I don't think so. So Giuliani, I think, did a great job. There was a point, though, when I thought he was actually bleeding, on the side of his face. And some people are saying it was hair dye. I thought maybe he scratched a pimple that he didn't know he had, and that it was kind of scary. It really was. I was concerned for him. I hope he's okay. He's got a road ahead of him, but he's smart enough to handle it. Trump is plainly the victor here. There's no interest in Joe Biden. Even today, they're hardly talking about Joe Biden. So don't tell me, media, that Joe Biden got more votes than any other candidate ever on the universe in the United States of America. Please. I wasn't born yesterday. So, but they expect us to believe it and keep going with that. And I'm glad that my president is fighting back. But what I don't understand is how the press are treating us as though we're toddlers. We're not toddlers. They try to, so to speak, protect us from the truth because it might be too complicated for us simple-minded people. I think they're just as much of the elitists as those really, really wealthy ones. Or maybe just they want to be good friends with them. Who knows? But their questions were mundane. And Giuliani point blank said, do your job. Do your job. How hard is that? You have one job. Be a journalist. Go out and find stuff. Go and look for stuff. Don't wait for the left to tell you what to report. Use your mind. Use your intellect. Use your common sense. They're forgotten what their job is, which is why they're passing the buck. So we never got to see the evidence in the impeachment hoax because we were told, that we couldn't see it because it was all classified. But I doubt very seriously if we'll see the people who will probably testify in the trial of whatever kind it's going to be. I would think that would be a dangerous move. That would have to be something closed up because of the history of violence from the left. And they do have a reputation, solid reputation, for violence. For instance, I live north of Austin. Out here, I'm good. But I don't dare put a bumper sticker on my car that says Trump, even though I just love Trump. Why? Because if I drive close enough to Austin, there's a bunch of liberals there, and my car might very well get keyed. It's been known to happen. However, out here in Austin area, where Beto O'Rourke was so popular, those cars are perfectly safe. Nope, nobody's going to touch it. You know why? Because we conservatives don't behave that way. We don't behave that way. We don't throw bricks at people. We don't loot. We don't riot. We discuss. We try to solve problems. But we don't intimidate and we don't riot. And as soon as things don't go their way, they say, they say the right is guilty of voter suppression. Oh my gosh, the Democratic Party has a history of voter suppression. Back when they started the Klan, that's how they intimidated blacks, not to register to vote, not to vote. Look up the Opelousas Massacre, case in point. So Sidney Powell, she was invited to be on Tucker, and Tucker said he had several conversations with her, and he should have known better. He should have known that there's very little he could say in the form of what evidence they actually have, but I can guarantee you there's tons of it. I mean, I can tell you, just in my own personal experience, I have a very good friend who happens to work the polls every election season. Her and her husband work there. And when I saw her on election day, I asked her, how is it going? And she says, it's the strangest thing. Now, make a note. She wasn't put in the same precinct or whatever they call it that she normally goes to. They sent her away. They brought in a bunch of Democrats. I know that they were Democrats because I was at an actual meeting with Republicans and Democrats where we're supposed to have this cordial conversation. And the people from the left were there to talk with us. They were the ones taking our votes. And the one who took my vote, I was one of the ones I debated with. So why the switch? I don't know. I mean, my guy won, but I wonder about all the other smaller positions in government. I wonder about that. But Texas, I don't think Texas used Dominion, but I still wonder about fraud. Because I think that anytime you are in a party that it's okay to yank a baby from its mother's womb and crush its head and pull the arms off of said baby with no anesthesia, no compassion whatsoever, then lying, stealing, and cheating is not beneath you. If that's all okay with you, then lying, stealing, and cheating is nothing. So we were expecting this. We were expecting it. What they did not expect was the mass numbers of people who would vote for Trump. That's why they had to shut these precincts, or what do they call those things? The polls down. They had to shut down because of the number, the sheer volume. And so, this is my part of the theory anyway. And so, in the middle of the night, they had to accommodate for all of those votes for Trump by bringing in the extra votes for Biden. That's why he all of a sudden is the most popular president there ever was in the universe in the United States of America. Does anybody really believe that? I mean, did you see him? Did you see his campaign when he came out of the hole of his house only to say a few words, usually a gaffe? He couldn't even fill a garage, let alone a bowling alley. So that's hard to believe. I just can't. I don't believe it for 1 second. I don't believe it for 1 second. And if the left should prevail, God forbid, if they should prevail, they will have gotten away with the biggest con job ever. This beats the Trojan horse. This will be the demise of the United States of America as we know it. Because we all know, you don't have to be a psychiatrist to look at Joe Biden and say, something's wrong there. He's not all there. And to say that more than half of this country is dumb enough to vote for him, I don't believe that. Not for a second. That's enough would be depressing just to think that there are that many. But no, I don't believe it for 1 second. So this is another smoke and mirrors game by the Democratic Party. Look over here while I'm doing this over there, and the middle of the night, the sneakiness of it, the corralling of the Republicans who were supposed to be able to watch and monitor while they were counting the votes, and they were put 200 feet away, sometimes 100 to 200 feet away, corralled away from the actual counting, so they couldn't actually see what was happening. And this not only happened in one area, it happened in many, mostly blue cities. It's coordinated, mostly blue cities. We all saw it, all know it, and I'm not saying anything new. I'm not. I wish I could. But they are true to form. All I can say is, what did we expect? Did we expect anything different after over 100 days of rioting and ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, and all of those cockamamie channels could not report it adequately? In fact, standing in front of buildings burning down behind them while claiming, these were mostly peaceful protesters. I will never believe anything that they say. They will always get a side eye from Kathy. After the Russian collusion debacle, did the press go and dig deeper to find out the source of the dossier? We all know now that, Hillary hired someone to create this phony dossier that started the whole impeachment thing. Did they go after her? No. Did they charge her? No. Did they even investigate? Did the newspapers go, my gosh, this happens to not be a true dossier. How did Hillary pull it off? No. That's our press today. They are useless. They are useless. They do nothing for their money. Nothing. Short of putting on their makeup and standing in front of a camera, which any idiot can do. Anybody. We should be ashamed of them. I don't know if it's, it goes beyond that. I mean, think of Harris Faulkner. Harris Faulkner went silent when Newt Gingrich even mentioned George Soros. Why hasn't the mainstream media, why haven't they investigated George Soros? Is it forbidden, like Newt Gingrich said? Is it forbidden to talk about it? Hush, hush. That's not reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, journalism is dead, officially. Missed the funeral, but it's dead, all right. Fox News has taken a deep hit as far as their viewership, and it's understandable. They seem to have turned on us. I really enjoyed many of the characters. I loved Greg Gutfield, but I don't see them doing their best to get us back. I mean, they lost a lot of us because they seem to have betrayed us. And I don't see them making any great efforts to get us back. I only feel bad for the good people that are left behind that are actually sincere in their opinions, because it's an opinion-led shows, most of them, except for when Brett Baer does the news, and I think he does still a pretty good job at that. But they're still towing the line of, lack of evidence, lack of evidence, lack of evidence. Yeah, lack of evidence. Like we spent millions of dollars with lack of evidence, so at least give my president his due. He deserves it. He earned it. He deserves an investigation into the biggest fraud this country has ever seen. And it's for something more monumental, more important than any other story in history. This puts Watergate to shame. This affects how we will look at our elections for the rest of our lives and our children's lives and our children's children's lives. This is our democracy. This is our republic. And if we can't preserve the integrity of this election, we are doomed as a country. And I can tell you this, the first thing that they will do if they prevail, the opposite side by that I mean, if they prevail, the first thing I predict they will do is legalize marijuana nationwide. And I know the reason. It's not because they believe in it or anything like that, but I think they want to anesthetize the masses. Because if we're all high, we won't notice all the crap they're doing. They want to anesthetize us. In this case, think of it as a date rape drug. That's not what it is, but think of it that way. Because if we're all anesthetized and on the government dole, which they would love, they have complete control over us. Complete. Just like those homeless people in California and in LA, they put them up in hotels and they actually brought them liquor and marijuana to get them off the streets. They brought it in, served it to them. So expect that. Expect that. I don't know how you feel about it. One way or the other, I think marijuana is always going to be around. I don't know if making it more abundant is a good thing or not. But I do know the fact that the government wanting to be a part of it scares the daylights out of me. That scares me more than anything. The borders will have to open up, won't they? Oh, I just realized something. Now that we have so many states that have legalized marijuana, they don't have to grow it in south of the border anymore, do they? I wouldn't know. I'm going to look into it for another show. Okay, one last thing. I've got a bone to pick. Okay, over a week ago, I posted something on Facebook. It was not controversial, just one of those little things I thought was funny or cute. I don't even remember what I'd said. But you know how you pick those color boards that go behind your words? So I picked one and it was pretty. It had pastel colors and I thought, oh, that's pretty. I'll pick that one. I got a message in my messenger from a friend, sincere one, and he said, oh, Kathy, you might want to rethink using those colors. I'm thinking, why? He goes, because those colors are the colors that represent the transgender people, movement, flag, I don't know, but that represents that. I said, are you kidding me? It's just some pretty colors. Okay, and then I got really mad because I'm an artist. I'm a person of color. I love colors and everything. So already they took the rainbow, which was supposed to be the symbol of God's promise to us that he would not flood the whole entire earth again, you know, after Sodom and Gomorrah and Noah's Ark and him putting all the animals and everything in the ark. And that was supposed to be part of the promise, the rainbow. Well, the homosexuals took the rainbow. So now people are afraid to put rainbows anywhere because they don't want people to think they're homosexual. So I think that's kind of sad. When I was a little girl, I used to draw rainbows all the time. Every time I drew a house, I would put a little chimney, I put a rainbow, I put some flowers next to the little house, and a window, and a tree. And then my son was up in the corner. That's how I used to draw all my happy pictures. So now, we can't use rainbows, and now we've got these pastel colors they can't have all the colors. That's just my pet peeve. They cannot have all the colors on the left. I'm just saying. Can't have the rainbow and the pastel colors. So Nobody asked me, so I'm just telling you that because it just really bugged me. Meanwhile, our kids are not going back to school soon enough, and I think my grandchildren need school. They need professionals teaching them. I was a homeschooler for a while. I'm a big believer in homeschooling, but not every parent is cut out to be a homeschooler. It is something that some are very gifted and talented in, but some people shouldn't be teaching children how to potty train, to be honest. I mean, people who can't, housebreak a dog probably shouldn't be educating your children. So I'm just saying, for the best part, I think most kids need to be in school, some sort of formal school. I don't believe that traditional school is for everybody. I believe we need options. I believe in school choice. And when I say school choice, I'm not just talking one of two models. I'm talking about an array of models because kids learn so differently. So I know a lot of parents right now are dying for the kids to go to school. And for the most part, there's no danger to it for the kids. But I think right now they're trying so hard to control our lives and to tell us what to do. Some areas, they're saying they want you to wear a mask now in your own house. That's just dumb. I can't even think of why anybody would do that. And then the top doctor in Canada, she suggested that married couples wear masks during intercourse. Okay, don't you think that's getting a little intrusive? What do you think? Let me know. I'd like you to chime back in. Come to kathysright.com, kathysright@gmail.com. Or you can come in on my page on Facebook. I'm trying to start a page on Parler. I'm not sure how it works, but I'd like to find out what people are thinking. I think they're getting a little bit intrusive, telling you can only have 10 people in your house. God, I'm so glad I don't live in a blue state. I'd about lose my mind by now. Well, this is Kathy of kathysright.com. God bless you. Bye.